I mean, that didn't make up for it, but like...
No, it's amusing, though. It's fun to watch other people
Right,
miserable.
yeah.
Have a good night. Hello!
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I think I would like the carbonara.
Okay.
You get 2 chicken tacos.
2 chicken tacos. You got it.
What big burrito?
$7.50 if that's everything for you.
Slide.
Yeah, slide, tap, insert, facing you with the chip, any of it. Order 85. Thank you.
Can I do the big burrito, but I'm going to be really picky on some cheese sauce? Can I get it without the chipotle slaw?
Yes. Yes, you absolutely
And
can.
then
No
without
slaw.
the onion salsa?
No salsa.
And do you guys have sour cream or no?
We do not.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
And that's everything.
Would you like chicken or pork?
Newly disclosed surveillance video said to have been taken early on November 13th appears to show University of Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves and Maddie Mogan, walking with a man in downtown Moscow. The man walking with them, police have said, is not a suspect. In the audio you can hear a short conversation between Kaylee and Maddie. The group is on their way to the grub truck.
And joining me now is the father of Kaylee Goncalves, Steve Goncalves, as well as their family's attorney, Shannon Gray. Steve, thanks so much for joining the program again. I made a promise to you that our audience would stay on this case and not let this case die. We had a cooling off period last week out of respect for law enforcement to bring the temperature down a little bit. What new can you tell us, Steve? I know we got this new surveillance video that was released by our digital team today. What can you tell us?
That film, to the family, we've had that film for a while. I believe the business reached out to us directly, and after they had given it to the police. So it was kind of comforting to us because it's just 2 girls having a good time talking about, asking about their bartender and just being girls on their way to the grub truck.
Yeah, so you don't suspect that this guy, Adam, that's stated in the video is somehow a suspect or anything like that. You guys have known about this video for a while.
We have, and we asked, and we did the obvious due diligence when we looked into that, and it was pretty clear that this individual was not a part of the investigation as far as a suspect.
Good copy. So, Steve, what can you tell us about the investigation thus far? We've heard about the car details being released as well. Is there anything that we can do to get some answers for you guys so we can get this suspect, whoever it is, in custody?
They've kind of informed us through communications that they've checked all the easiest paths. So, like, if this individual had this car registered to his name and it was just something very quick that they could just look up in the area and go right to his house, they've done all the due diligence there. They've done all that. So now they're reaching out and they're going to look to the community, see if this individual borrowed this car. It doesn't appear that it's something that they have real easy access to. So he may have ran. And they really pushed the narrative saying, hey, if we can get these guys to focus on something that's really helpful, which is this car, and, find out if somebody says, hey, that car, that looks a lot like mine, I'm going to come forward and just volunteer my information. And then, they can figure out if somebody else had borrowed it or if it, heck, who knows?
Steve, we talked about this off air. But one of the reasons why I want to bring this up is because I think it's critical to this investigation. A lot of these young people were teenagers, and there may have been some illicit activity that was minor that they would have gotten in trouble for, and it may be preventing them from coming forward. What can you tell these young people to kind of motivate them to give up some answers? Don't worry about all the petty stuff. 4 innocent lives were lost here.
Yeah, I want kids to understand that this is such a big case that these guys have their hands full. I wanted to go out there and tell everyone we support the Gonzalez family, support the local police officers, so much so that we want them to be able to work on this case. I know that this is way over the normal workload that they normally have. Plus, they have patrols. They have to patrol now. This guy's not caught. So, there was some rumors that I had called these officers a coward. That was not for these officers. That was for a lawyer that was standing in between what the officers would like to release and what is actually being released. And I called that individual. And this was just about coming forward and saying that the profile is a male. I feel like at a month we can rule that that's not going to hurt the case. It's pretty clear. Even the coroner said this was a very strong individual. 2 people had defensive wounds, overpowered those people. So I'm just trying to steer the conversation into a way. So I have another person who's going to school there, and I don't want him walking around those streets if it's not safe. So we know as a family what we're looking for. And, if they see an individual looking a certain way, I'm telling my kids, steer clear of that.
Steve,
but, I want other families to know.
Steve, this is your first, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother, but this is your first Christmas without Kaylee. How you doing? How's your family doing?
To be honest, we're not even really going to have a Christmas because you just can't get yourself there to where it would make sense. One of my children, the youngest one, is going to go stay with some families because they're going to have the normal type Christmas, and she deserves that. But for us, we can't do that. It's too close to our heart. And how do you have a celebration like this when you've lost 2 of your favorite people in the world?
Yeah. Brother, we continue to pray for you, our audience as well. Thank you so much for joining the program.
Thank you, sir.